W09, the final war of the season, and we're up against Matrix. Today my team will be Tigra, White Magneto and Masacre. I'm taking Path 5 in Section 1, Rintrah on Ebb and Flow Knockdown, Path 2 in Section 2 as well as the Mr. Negative, King Groot on Safeguard as well as the Terrax boss. The reason why I have an odd team today is because they actually banned Kitty Pryde, so I'm using Masacre instead of her. First up we have a Hit Monkey on Ebb and Flow Knockdown. I'm using Masacre here, and this is gonna be a pretty quick fight. So the basic idea on any fight with Masacre is that you wanna get your bat ignited and throw your big special twos into the opponent's block. Preferably with at least a few incinerate debuffs on the opponent to lower their block proficiency. I'm taking this fight a little bit slower and not knocking down Hit Monkey at all, because I don't wanna deal with this evade or debuff shrugging, as well as the right back added node. So the way that I like to use Masacre Special 2 is basically the same as how you'd wanna use Ghost with the Wasp synergy. When I have my Special 2 ready, I go for a combo, but I cut it short by dashing back. When I dash back, I throw my Special 2 straight after, which causes the AI to just stand there and hold block. With some practice, it is pretty easy to do and get the timing right, and it's a lot better for Masacre instead of just waiting for the opponent to stand there and hold their block on their own. Then we have an Ebony Maw on Ebb and Flow Knockdown, and I'm gonna use Tigra. I was gonna use Masacre here, but I'm very used to fighting Ebony Maw with Tigra, so I figured that that would be the right call here. Neutralize prevents Ebony Maw from triggering that Fury buff on you after his Special 1, so you don't have to worry about Mystic Dispersion or him nullifying that Fury buff. All you have to be mindful of is that you don't trigger Dexterity before baiting Special 1. With the passive Fury from Ebb and Flow Knockdown, this fight will be over in a single Special 2. Then we have an Ebb and Flow Knockdown Rintrah that I'm taking with Masacre. Now I have never fought Rintrah with Masacre before in war, so I'm a little bit on edge about this. Even though this fight has the right back added node, I do have to keep knocking him down to remove his charges. And Masacre, well, his heavy attack has 4 hits, so I have to keep throwing my heavy attacks more than you would with other champions. Now that I got my Special 2, I had to remove the Ebb and Flow protection and get an opening so I can throw my Special 2 into his block. Unfortunately, I couldn't have any Incinerate debuffs on him due to the right back added node, but that Special 2 still did around 70,000 damage through his block. Now the fight is gonna slow down a lot. I need to bait his specials and keep knocking him down to remove his charges, but I can't do that while he's cornered. If I hit him in the corner while he's above 10 charges, he will go unstoppable. I don't wanna hit him anyways to give him more power, and I really don't wanna trigger Mystic Dispersion here, because his passive prowess is ramping up way too high. One missed Dex on his Special 2 and I'm gone. Now this Special 2 probably would have finished him off, but my bat wasn't ignited, so the damage was a lot less than it would have been. But at the very least, the fight is under control, and there shouldn't really be any reason for me to die here at this point. Masacre may not be the fastest option here, but he does work. Up next we have Modok on strike counter block penetration, and I'm gonna be taking this fight with Masacre. If everything goes well, this should be about a 30-second fight. Would be a real shame if something went wrong and I got comboed. Somehow Modok managed to escape from me hitting into his block, and he comboed me. Luckily it wasn't enough to finish me off, but it will cost me a few potions. Something I forgot to mention on the earlier fight: when Masacre throws his special 2 into the opponent's block, he causes the opponent's hits to miss for a while after, so you can just basically phase a hit and go for a combo straight after. Then we have a Blade on strike counter block penetration, and I'm taking this with Masacre. Blade is a conduit defender, but Masacre is also a sick and tired attacker, so the incinerate debuffs will keep Blade heal blocked. Thanks to that, I don't have to worry about the regen from conduit or Blade's sick ability at all when I'm hitting into his block. I kinda wanna rank 4 Masacre, and this special 2 alone dealt over 90,000 damage through Blade's block. Next up we have a Mr. Negative on strike counter block penetration and never back down. I'm taking this fight with Masacre as well. The game plan here is basically the same as the previous fights. I need to get my bat ignited, get a few incinerate debuffs up, and go for big special 2s into his block. However, in this fight I also get very unlucky with my critical hits, and I really can't get my bat ignited in time for my special 2. So I just throw it and try again with my next special 2. I don't go for any parries this fight and only play by baiting heavy attacks and going for intercepts, because I don't want Mr. Negative to gain any light energy. I don't want to deal with reversed controls. Now I'm back at my special 2 with the bat ignited, so this will finish the fight. Then we have a King Groot on the safeguard node, and I'm taking this with Tigra. King Groot is a conduit defender, so to do this fight relatively fast I need to get my special 3 first. Getting the infinite duration rupture debuff up still breaks the conduit regen, so that will be my main source of damage. After throwing my special 3, all I need to do is just spam my special 2 as much as I can. And that is the whole fight. And not much else to say here. the infinite duration rupture debuff, the burst damage on all of my unblockable attacks during my specials will bypass the conduit region. It is still a slow fight, but it's faster than simply just spamming specialties. Then we have my last fight of the whole season, a Terrax boss with Tigra. The plan here is simple. Since Terrax is a conduit defender, I need to get my special 3 first, after which I just spam my special 2 to finish the fight. I will be utilizing my aggro intercepting, or aggro setting as some people suggested, to get my special 3 faster. For those of you who may not have heard or seen it before, aggro setting is a trick that you can do against the most aggressive AI profile in the game, and Terrax happens to have it during his rock field. And only during his rock field. There are 2 main ways that you can use this trick. Number 1 is the way that I'm showing in this video. I dex out of Terrax's dash attack and go straight for my heavy attack to punish him. And the second way takes a bit more practice and precise timing, and you can basically just ignore having to wait out for the opponent's dash attack and instead charge your heavy attack when the opponent is far away from you, and then release it when the opponent walks past a specific point on the field. Against an opponent with the most aggressive AI, you don't need any reaction time for it. You just need to know what the point is that they start dashing at you instead of walking towards you. Even if you don't want to go for heavy attacks, it's very useful to know which opponents are aggressive and when, and use that to your advantage when going for normal intercepts. But then, as for the results, my BG ended up beating theirs 2-0, and we ended up winning the war 7-6, beat them by 1 death, and as a result we ended up finishing the season in Masters top 10. Way to clutch up the season.